Hello and welcome to All Shorts. Well, you know that geezer, James O'Brien of LBC Radio. He tells us that Brexit has been an unmitigated disaster. I don't think any of us could actually disagree with that, whether you are a Brexiter or a Remainer. It is an unmitigated disaster. Unless your name is James O'Brien. Yeah. Well, while you're here, please beat the old like button. You see, the Brexit has made James O'Brien a very rich man. It's just the rest of us who are much poorer because of Brexit. So for him, that is a benefit of Brexit. Yes, it put him on the map, that it did. But you see, Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, he told us all that he was going to make Brexit work. And next week, he's going to try and do exactly that. In his meeting with von der Leyen. Yes, he's meeting von der Leyen next week. That he is. For a Brexit reset. Apparently. Yes, the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer will visit Brussels next week for talks with the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, who's just regained her place in the European Union. After a bit of a frosty start, after Terry Britton decided, hang on, sod you, I'm off now. He didn't like that idea of von der Leyen, was it von der Leyen or von der Leyen, actually getting that top job once again. So anyway, Keir Starmer wants to reset the relationship with the European Union. Now, I'll tell you what's going to happen. He's going to go there. There's going to be all sweet nothings whispered in each other's ears. That there is. But nothing is going to be negotiated. Nothing will be coming out of this other than maybe just having a bit of a relationship with the European Union. Now, for the United Kingdom to try and pull itself out of the mud, it's going to have to, well, smooth the waters somewhat. We need to have some kind of relationship with the European Union, even though it's a little bit frostier and a little bit harder than it ever has been before. Because of, how to put it, consecutive UK Prime Ministers and Tory governments that have been, how to put it, are rather disingenuous. Well, I don't think you can win any friends when you call them Nazis and that, you know what I mean? No, it's not going to work, is it? Definitely isn't. You see, the tensions are still running high here in the EU. Whether they are the civilians or whether it is the actual commission itself. The MEPs, they ain't very happy because there's been kind words being said by Keir Starmer and then he retracts basically by saying, no, we don't want nothing to do with that. That we want the Brexit reset, but we don't want that. You're offering that? No, we don't want that. Like a petulant child. So much could be, arranged to make it a little bit more workable than what it actually is, especially for the youngsters regarding the Erasmus scheme. Bands and what have you as well, being able to tour without hindrance. It's not just bands, is it? Sports people. It could be so much easier. It's never going to be as easy as it was. It's never going to be as profitable as it was. But at least we could try and mitigate the disaster for which we're facing. Well, actually dealing with. We're in the midst of it now. And it's getting worse. The Prime Minister is actually having to just make more delays. Pushing back on planned introductions of the Train Corporation Agreement and obviously the Windsor Framework, etc., etc. But no. He's got these hard lines that are incompatible with the European Union, yet he thinks he's going to be able to reset Brexit. But I don't believe that there's going to be any form of Brexit reset. I think maybe we could mitigate some of the disaster that we're faced with. But it's always going to be harder to trade and also just go on holiday in the European Union because we're outside the club. We have to abide by Well, third country rules, like every other third country. Yes, we've got our Schengen visa, the 180 days, but that's it. We're still going to have to abide by the ETIS that comes in and the EES when that comes into play. We're still going to have to jump through hoops. We're still going to have to be waiting in our queues while everyone else is walking past and getting their little identity cards swiped and on your way. Have a nice day. But for Brits, that's not the case. No. Everything is much harder now than it used to be. Businesses in the UK are struggling to be able to, well, they're giving up. Just like the EU decides, hang on, it's not worth the candle to trade with the UK. Many businesses in the EU have stopped trading with the UK. Or they've had to mitigate, which puts up costs. Everything is much more expensive now. Your goods are more expensive, your food's more expensive. If you put barriers in the way, that costs money to implement, of course it's going to be added to the cost of the food. If haulage becomes more expensive because of the checks, of course it's going to put the prices up on your food, etc., etc. China, for instance, when they import their goods to the UK, they're not going to the UK, it's going to the EU. And then it goes via road haulage to the UK. Of course, everything is going to become more expensive. It's not rocket science, no. Now, Keir Starmer might say, I want to reset our relationship with the European Union and make Brexit work. Oh, blimey, that's painful. For the British people. Oh, yeah, of course. We all want that. If we can't rejoin or even do the single market, we want to make Brexit work. But how can it? It's an impossibility to make Brexit work. You can only mitigate. That's all you can do. To make Brexit work would mean that what was being promised to those who voted for Brexit, all those benefits of Brexit would have came true, but they haven't. So how are you going to make it work then? There is no way, is there? And I know we're going to get criticised again. Why are you bothering with this Brexit lark if you haven't got any solutions? I haven't got any solutions because none exist. Keir Starmer has got no solutions because none exist. The only solution that does exist is working very hard to put ourselves on a journey to return to the European Union, or at least some kind of closer arrangement. But we can't just step in the door without paying our dues, which means we're going to have to do a hell of a lot of work before we can get anywhere near free trade, proper free trade, because we haven't really got free trade in the UK. We've got, there's rules of origin, all sorts of flipping problems. And when you've got products that are made from other products from lots of different countries, you definitely have not got free trade. You've got tariffs. But nobody wants to admit it. Now, it's been about 4 years since we officially left the European Union. 4 years. And we have not benefited. And it isn't even finished yet. What's going to happen when, crikey, London loses the euro clearing, for instance? We'll be even worse off. What happens when the previous negotiated memorandums of understanding runs out and they decide, hang on, we're not happy with this, we no longer want to, well, renegotiate a new memorandums of understanding regarding the finance sector? What happens then? Whereas before, we were all part of bank passporting and it was all part of the European Union. There wasn't any of this threat. How can you plan and invest in the UK when you don't know what's going to happen next? It doesn't make any sense. Makes no sense whatsoever being outside the European Union. There are those in the European Union say, well, we don't want you back, and I understand that mentality, I really do. When you consider the way that we have behaved in the UK, it's disgraceful. We have behaved like petulant children. Now, we've got this Labour government now, and I had big hopes. But unfortunately, they're quickly fading. How about you? Please leave it in the comments down below. And do you think that maybe Keir Starmer could negotiate a Brexit reset? If there is one to have. I've just got my doubts, Anyway, please click the like button and maybe subscribe to the channel. It's a bit depressing, really, isn't it? And maybe subscribe and a little bell icon, because then you get a one fuzzy feeling in your pocket every time I upload another video. And we're doing a rewilding here in France where we're planting the trees. 1,000 trees on 2 hectares of land. If you want to be part of that, there's a GoFundMe link down below, for which you can make a small donation, and we'll plant a tree on your behalf. And I will make a sign to go with the tree. It could be a memory of a loved one, or maybe instead of a birthday or Christmas card for somebody, what we'll do is we'll give acknowledgement to say that you've got a new tree. But make sure you tell us what you want, okay? But we're also making bat boxes and bird box and hedgehog houses as well, and owl roosts actually. So if you want to be a part of that, there's a link down below. Anyway, it's time for me to go. Please, comment down below. Toodaloo, and have a lovely day. Sorry to bring you depressing news.